There is a resurgence of the area boys menace in Lagos. The last week has been hell for motorists around the Lekki-Ajah axis, where area boys barricaded roads, causing traffic bottlenecks and smashing vehicles of drivers who refused to give them money. Several of them were arrested, and the situation was brought under control. But these guys aren't going anywhere. There was a time when area boys were merely irritating features of the city of Lagos. A young man at the bus stop demanding money for doing absolutely nothing. Today, that young man has evolved. He has discovered what I call extortion. If you park your car, you pay. You load your goods, you pay. These levies are for the owners of Lagos. For decades, Lagos has produced several young men without enough jobs, skills, or legitimate economic opportunities to absorb them. To survive, these men created a street economy. They play in the transport sector, markets, parking, loading points, security, touting, and eventually extortion. But poverty alone does not create area boys. If it did, every poor Nigerian will be carrying a weapon and collecting development levy quote. Impunity is the issue here for me. And our politicians have long understood the value of young men who can turn intimidation into a political instrument. The same boys who can mobilize crowds can disrupt them. And so, a strange career progression emerged, from school dropout to street boy, from political thug to union enforcer, and then to a respectable stakeholder. Everybody pretends not to understand the system until election season. Suddenly, that fellow who sits at the junction, smoking weed and collecting levies from Okada and Keke Napep operators might be in charge of mayhem and ballot snatching on election day. Lagos cannot arrest its way out of this problem while leaving the ecosystem intact. Arresting area boys without dismantling the illegal economies that sustain them is like killing mosquitoes without deliberately maintaining stagnant water. The city must attack the whole chain: unemployment, drugs, illegal collections, weak policing, political patronage, and the powerful men who occasionally use area boys to achieve their goals.
Lagos is not the one producing these young men. Most of them are from other states who came to Lagos to hustle and have chosen to exploit the inadequately governed areas of Lagos. It's, I don't know, I don't even know where to start from. I mean, Lagos itself is seeing shege for, from all of, and I think we as individuals, particularly the celebrities, are enablers of this culture. There was a video I watched on the internet. These guys were mentioning specific names of celebrities who give them
money
when they pass by, and how much they give them. And then they were calling out others, that you bought a 200 million naira car, you now give us maybe 7,000 or something. I'm like, why?
Where is that
coming from?
Entitlement mindset.
Yeah, the entitlement mindset.
Why is it? And I mean, they were literally calling up names. But kudos to Lagos State government. At least they made the first step of trying to get rid of them on the roads. Yeah. They will come back, but then how do they want to manage it going forward? I also watched the video of one of the estates managers saying they have started chasing them away from the front of their estate, that they are the ones who commit crimes, petty crimes around. So we all, beyond what the government is doing, we all need to take individual responsibility and not enable and accommodate these people.
There has to be an alternative. If you take something away, you have to provide something for them to do. So community service, apprenticeships, vocational work, you need to engage them. They can't just sit down because it's an economy. There's a business model behind it.
They have a nuisance value.
This is how they are sustaining themselves. So if we don't give them something else to do, then they will continue to behave in this manner. I talked about the beggy culture a while ago. This sense of entitlement. Zuma gave the example of that video. I saw that video where the guy was saying that somebody is giving him ordinary 200 naira notes. He was even saying that they continue to enable these people by these acts. If we're not giving them the money and we're working hand in hand with the government, but the thing is, they will come back.
You go to every state in this country, you will find thugs, people who will be used by politicians for this. So I think we need to separate it from the whole political thing. You said your monologue, you said these levies are for the owners of Lagos. I think Uzuma mentioned most of them are not from Lagos. That's the reality. You know, and I'll give an example. During NSAS, for instance, we had a situation where some boys came and camped in front of our estate, you know, and they didn't allow us to drive out or drive in, and we knew that it was a form of intimidation.
Okay.
So we decided to go and confront them. You know, myself and a few other people in the estate went to meet with them. And when we got there, we asked, "Who is your leader?" So they pointed at two people. So I remember asking one of them, "What's your name?" The guy said, "Nnamdi something." I was lost. How is somebody from the southeast or Monile in Lagos? It just didn't make sense. But the guy was entrenched. It was obvious that he was their leader. The reality is this: if we are going to solve this problem, we are going to be willing to take some tough decisions. And some of those decisions will be uncomfortable decisions. Fashola did it at some point, all right? And people came at him when he deported some people. Of course, there's a constitutional angle of it. So the recommendation for me, for instance, is that can Lagos State, for instance, decide to invest in maybe farming or some kind of industry or whatever, maybe outside of Lagos where there's more land, and take these people.
These guys can be
utilized.
Yes.
Can be tax collectors.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we need to be ready to take some tough decisions. And I'm saying it here because if the government starts to take these tough decisions, it is us here as well that will take up the mantle and start to criticize government.
When we talk of Agberos, area boys in Lagos, people tend to say, oh, it was the former Lagos State Governor, Bola Tinubu, who is now the president who
is enabling them.
Who enabled them, but that's not true. I read a piece by Rashid Ujikutu in The Guardian of 10th July 2022. It's titled Agbero, Area Boys, Hoodlums, and Bola Tinubu. And if you read that particular piece, that newspaper article, you see that the history of Agberos or area boys are quite different. Area boys, they preceded the Civil War back in the 50s. And it was traced to a certain bushura of Ebutero around, who used to hang around Ebutero at Idumota. So essentially, this is a governance problem. And I'm glad that you talked about Fashola, because he really did excellently when he governed Lagos, in reading Lagos of these people. So it is about why Lagos has not been able to effectively control these set of people. It's not just about political patronage. It's not just about poverty. It's not just about unemployment. It's that there are people who are alternatives to the official people who make us pay. Call them taxtortionists. There shouldn't be a street alternative to taxing.
To tax collection.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you are an NURTW, because you can't talk about area boys and not talk about NURTW.
Oh, sure.
But so because this is peculiar to Lagos. So if NURTW has people on the streets, on the roads, that they've enabled to be collecting money from Keke Marwa and the bus riders or drivers and all of that, who is enabling them? Is a right.
But do you know, local government chairmen engage these guys to collect money?
So that's where I'm coming
from. So they feel wanted and recognized.
No.
We are not sure, because we have to be very careful about
I think we're mixing a lot of groups together and
Yeah.
we're putting them under one umbrella.
Yeah.
Remember that I said
Revenue
Agbero area
collectors.
boys hoodlums.
Yeah.
So there are three distinct groups of people. Okay. So you see, it's a governance problem. If these people exist on the street, you've talked about the local government. That is the closest to the people. They should be resolving this for us, not even the governors.
Happy that we're having this conversation because sometimes when we talk about the issues of Lagos, many people make it look like, oh, it's easy. It's Lagos has an invasion problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It has to be able to provide leadership at all levels and solve all problems that have been migrated into Lagos by other states.
Anyway, change
maybe the
must
positive.
be holistic.
They say what they do.
It is to be effective. Area boys don't just emerge. They are the product of a chain of dysfunctionality, and that chain must be destroyed.
Must be destroyed.
Suma.
I absolutely agree with you, Kingsley. On the one hand, area boys are aggressively reaping where they have not sown. On the other hand, our religious houses are encouraging their attendants to covet unmerited favor. Do you see a connection?